What's going on? It's your boy Cozy from Swoop Boys. Just checking in because we're just seeing more and more drama daily when it comes to the Eagles, and that's how I know we're just getting closer to the season. Today's drama, however, Saquon Barkley. And if you don't know who Saquon Barkley is, he's currently the Eagles running back. He's also a top 100 Giant of all time. So I'm just gonna put that out there. So people are talking on Twitter, on social media in general, and they're saying how they're talking about Saquon not being a victim because we've all heard the stories about why did Saquon go to the Eagles, blah blah, and then stuff started coming out more and more clips here and there. So one of the clips I want to bring up because people were talking about it and they're talking about how the argument being that Saquon was never offered a deal and that he was offered a deal. Saquon said he didn't, blah blah blah. But I think the what we all know is the deal that was offered to Saquon was below par. It's not what he thought his worth was and it's not what he wanted. Now, again, there's a lot of clips to come out, but I'm just going off of what we have here. And this is one clip from the Giants front office.
Whether we lose Saquon, right? What's our identity going to be on offense now? And what's our plan what's the next step of that? I guess is what I'm thinking. Like we're losing
a
large part of our offense, our explosiveness, our touchdowns. Quarterback, if it's Daniel, depends on the run game.
We're going to upgrade the offense.
You can see that when it comes to Saquon, they do think highly of him to an extent. They do realize that the offense goes through him, contrary to what a lot of Giants fans had said. And they tried to downplay Saquon when he left and that Saquon wasn't a good player. Again, let me just put that out there. A lot of Giants fans were downplaying Saquon coming to the Eagles, saying he's a bum, he's trash, when their own front office thinks that highly of him that when he leaves, or at this point, I think he was still going to leave. When he was going to leave, they're thinking about this huge piece of the offense and their identity completely going away. So again, that's high praise, but there's other things that are being said that also kind of confuse me. Well, for instance, this clip right here from the GM.
On the next Hard Knocks,
Saquon Barkley has turned down several different offers.
I offered him today a 3-year deal at 12.5 APY and 25 guaranteed he'd be a Giant.
I have a tough time sleeping if Saquon.
Apparently, according to this clip, they did offer him a deal. Now, again, this is the clip. This is what they said. And then we saw a couple other clips where someone was on the phone with Saquon talking to him saying, hey, can you give us a shot, blah, blah, blah. But if you watch those clips, they never specifically offer Saquon a deal. You just hear this one clip of the guy saying that they offered Saquon a deal. In the other clip, I'm not going to play it. It's like a minute and a half long. But in the other clip, you hear him saying to Saquon, like, we'll let you test free agency. And if you get a number, you come back to us. Now, if we look at the timeline of Saquon when he's with the Giants, he gets drafted 2018. He signs his 4-year deal, and everyone knows when you're a good player, a valued player, a franchise player, if you will, you get your deal done the year before. So he should have gotten his deal in 2020. He didn't. In 2021, they picked up and they exercised his 5th-year option. So off rip, no deal, picked up his option. And then, so that was for 2022. And then in 2023, they franchise tagged him and with the 1-year extension. No deal. If that's a player that you care about and you want on your team for the foreseeable future, you don't pay Daniel Jones $40 million. You pay Saquon Barkley. You pay the guy who, when you're talking about, you're saying, the identity of the team, not the guy who's, okay, we'll give him a couple years and we'll see how he does. So that's my discourse with the entire thing, because in one breath, they're speaking highly of Saquon. They're acknowledging his worth. But when it comes to paying him, that's when stuff gets a little shaky. That's when everything's, blah, blah, trade. Because we as fans, we speculated throughout the years, football fans in general speculated throughout the years, what are they going to do? Are they going to trade Saquon? Are they going to sign him long-term deal? All this stuff. And then videos come out like this where you see they're again, in one clip, they're speaking highly of him, saying he's the identity of the team. And then you get videos like this.
I mean, you look at Saquon had like 900 carries at Penn State plus 6 years in the NFL. You got to start saying bang for your buck.
Am I right or wrong that
At 27, you guys look at it like running backs. After that, is there steep
Yeah,
decline?
the data says that.
But he's very talented, dude.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we tried to get something done last year, and we weren't able.
They would start from the end and go back. They said they tried to get something done last year. They tagged him. Again, we're not seeing anything from last year. We got to go with what we know. Saquon didn't get a deal last year. He had the 1-year deal. And then they're sitting here and the next breath talking down about him, saying he has so much wear and tear, saying, running backs decline at 27. He said he'll take an older quarterback, but an older running back they're talking about, he's declining and they want to get the best bang for their buck. So it seems like they valued Saquon, but the numbers weren't the same. So when you're talking about a deal that they offered him, you're sitting there, we want to get the best bang for our buck, and you're not. There's a disconnect somewhere, because you can have a job, and you know what I mean. Like, you can go to your boss and say, "Hey, like I have done everything for this company. I feel I'm worth." We'll just throwing numbers out. I'm worth $50K a year, and you're making 35. You're like, I'm worth $50K a year, and like they're sitting there. It's like the boss will come back and be like, he'll talk to his superiors and be like, he is worth $50K a year, but we're not paying him $50K a year. That's crazy. And they come back and they're like, hey, listen, we'll give you 40. It's more than your 35, but you're worth 50. That's this situation. You're going to feel disrespected. You're going to feel, what the hell? Especially when you're like, you've been there for 6 years and you're like, hey, listen, I've been here 3 years already. I think I've, warranted a pay raise. And they're like, you know what? You definitely deserve a pay raise. And then they don't give it to you. So year 4 comes. Hey, guys, I think I deserve a raise. You know what? You definitely deserve a raise. Nothing happens. Year 5 comes. Hey, we'll give you a little raise. Go from 30 to 35. You're like, all right, come on. Like, I see dudes making more around the league. I think I'm deserving of more. And then they're just sitting there. And again, they're sitting there talking to Barkley about all this. And there's things behind the scenes. They've been trying to trade him for years. So how in one breath are you sitting here mentioning his value and his identity, and then in the next breath you're diminishing his value and talking about wanting to trade him? Because everyone's talking about the clip of saying like they offered him a deal, but they're not talking about the clips like this.
A running back and look at Saquon. Do you feel good about eating $3 to $4 million for a 5th round pick? Like, I wouldn't.
I don't know. There's no guarantee we can trade him. So, having the needs that we have in a $12 million, 27-year-old running back.
And you're talking about paying him, but you're also talking about trading him. So it's like, in my mind, it looks like the Giants were trying to pay him just so they can trade him. And in their mind, they're thinking if we pay him this $12 million a year, nobody's going to want to trade for him. So it's, again, why would, as Saquon, whose agent I'm sure is hearing some of this chatter, why would you want to go back there? Because they don't want you. For years, they have not wanted you. They even said it in another
Trading Saquon is a Hail Mary. And the drama and all that goes with it, we did that last year.
They were trying to do it this year. They were trying to do it last year. His agent knows. Saquon knows. For a team that's sitting there in one breath talking about, we love you, we want you to be on this team for years to come, and then you're sitting here trying to trade him year after year, and he finally leaves, and now the Giants fan base and franchise is like, oh, we did all we could. We tried. No, you didn't, because you didn't give him a deal when he deserved it years ago when he had less tread on the tires. You paid a mediocre player who was not your franchise quarterback. You paid him millions of dollars more than his worth over Saquon Barkley. And then you have all these clips come out where and then you try to manipulate it to where you're like, oh, we tried to give him a deal. You tried to give him a deal too little, too late. He wanted the deal in 2020, 2021. It's 2024. You fucked up. So to anyone in the Giants fan base sitting here hating Saquon, I get as a fan why you hate him, because he went to the rival. I get that. Totally understand that. I would feel the same way. I have felt the same way when a player from the Eagles has gone to a division rival. What's made it worse is, or not made it worse, I would say, but like if it's a franchise player, like Zach Ertz is on the Commanders now. He's dead to me. It's disgusting. I don't like that. Saquon clearly meant the world to that fan base. And then for one breath, they're sitting here trying to diminish it and, hide the pain. Like, oh, he's trash. He's injury prone. He's garbage. And in the next breath, you're like, yeah, fuck him for going to a rival. If our third string O lineman signed with the Cowboys, I'd be like, cool, fuck him. I don't care. He's Corey Clement has been with the Giants and the Cowboys. I don't give a shit about Corey Clement anymore. He was on the Super Bowl team. I don't give a fuck about Corey Clement anymore. I'm not butthurt about Corey Clement. So for people to be butthurt about Saquon, that means it stings, which means they care about Saquon. So all those fake tears that fans are giving saying Saquon's the enemy, Saquon's been the victim for years. And he finally got out of a toxic situation. And now you guys are trying to guilt him into being wrong. Saquon Barkley is the abused girlfriend, and the Giants are the abusive boyfriend. And then when Saquon called the cops on the boyfriend, got him arrested, and the boyfriend's mother is sitting there going, "You're a bitch. How could you do such a thing to him?" Because he's a piece of shit. Look at the Giants now. They're stuck with Daniel Jones for at least another year because nobody's trading for him. You don't have another quarterback. Your running back is also 27 years old, which you talked about being a decline, which, again, Singletary has less wear and tear, but Singletary is not as talented as Saquon, and that's a fact. Love Singletary. Shout out FAU. That's where he's from. But you can't sit here and the Giants are in shambles, and I am here for it. And we support Saquon over here in